Hi there, Katie here. Let's talk about bedtime stories is one of my favorite parts of our day. It is precious time where me and my girls cuddle and we read books together that they've picked out. Now, not every night is perfect in this house. Of course, we have our nights where mama is tired and we have to get to bed, so the story is read super fast and that's it. It's all about get it done and get in bed because it has been a long day. But most nights, story time is super sweet and precious and we cuddle and I read to them and I love it. But did you know that when you're reading out loud to your children, you're also helping them with reading skills? You're building their vocabulary, you're increasing their listening skills, and you're strengthening their language skills. Plus, you're building that incredible bond. It's also really important that you don't stop reading out loud to your children when they know how to read by themselves. You are teaching them how to love reading outside of their schoolwork when you continue to share those bedtime stories with them at night. Now, on those really good bedtime nights where we're all happy and cheery, I like to use bedtime stories to sneak in a little bit of extra comprehension practice too. So let me share with you 3 ways that you can sneak in extra comprehension practice with your bedtime story. When you start reading, look at the cover with your child, read the title to them, and then ask them, what do you think this book is going to be about? This is called making a prediction, a guess about what the story is going to be about. Now, even if you've read this same book for the past 3.5 weeks, ask them anyways to make a prediction. It's always fun to see what they'll come up with. Maybe they'll tell you what their favorite part is. Maybe they'll give away the ending. Ask them. Now, if you're reading a chapter book with older kids, you can ask them, of course, about the cover and the title when you get started. But when you're in the middle of the book, before you start reading, you can ask them to recall what happened the night before. Hey, what was last night's chapter about? And then read the title of the next chapter if there is a title, or just simply ask, what do you think is going to happen next? What's going to happen in this chapter? What's coming up for the character? That sort of thing. That still gets them making a prediction, but it's applicable to the chapter book that they're reading. After you've finished reading the book or the chapter for that night, ask them the 5 W's. Who, what, where, when, and why. Who, we're talking about the characters. Ask them who the story is about. They can be specific. If they're older, you can ask names, you can ask about the characters, that sort of thing. If they're younger, there may be fewer characters in the story. They may be animals, they may be trucks. Who is the story about? That's your who. What? What is talking about what is happening in the story? You can ask questions like, what happened first, second, or third? What happened at the beginning of the story? What happened at the end of the story? Those kinds of questions are talking about the events, the sequence of our story. Who, what, where, and when are going to go together. Where and when are both thinking about the setting. So you can ask, where is the story taking place? When is the story taking place? If you have younger kids, where can simply be seen inside or outside. As they get older, you want more detail. So think about seasons. Think about the time of the year. Is this a holiday story? Is it a back to school story? You can also think about if it's in the morning, in the evening, as far as when questions. If it's inside, is it in their bedroom, the living room, the basement, the playroom, the kitchen? Get them to give you as many details as they can about the setting using when and where questions. Who, what, when, where, and why is the last one. Why is thinking about motivation. You might be asking about character motivation. Why did the character do this? Why do you think the author chose this? Why did this happen? Why? Or those are your why questions, looking at motivation there. So after you finish reading, you can ask the 5 W's. Who, what, where, when, and why. With something fun. These are my favorite kinds of questions because it's really where you create this bonding moment with you and your child. Ask them what their favorite part of the story was, or who their favorite character was and why. You always want to know why they're thinking this too. You can also ask them things like, what do you think would have happened if the character had chosen this instead of that? Or you could ask them if this is my favorite one, if the author was going to write a second book or a sequel and continue this adventure, what would it be about? Or better yet, if you or your child was going to write a sequel, what would they have happen next to this character in this story? So end with something fun, a fun question where they get to use their imagination to connect with the story. So quick recap. First, ask them to make a prediction. Second, ask those 5 W questions. And third, end with something fun. Now you might be thinking, wow, Katie, that's a whole lot of questions for one story time, especially when I'm tired. Do not ask them all in one night. That will make this feel like school, and that's not the atmosphere we're going for at bedtime, right? So pick a night that's going really well and ask one of those. So one night, ask a prediction. A couple nights later, maybe talk about a couple of the 5 W's. Another night, ask them what their favorite part was. If you get through all 3 of the types of questions I'm suggesting in a week, then you're winning. That's awesome. Don't push it for more than that unless your kid is really excited and they're really going with the questions. Keep that conversation going. Keep that excitement going. That is what creates the love of reading and builds a lifelong reader, which is what we all want for our children. So that's it for this video. I would love to hear from you guys in the comments. Tell me about your bedtime routines. Tell me if you ask these questions and how your kids respond, what kinds of fun answers you get from them, or simply tell me what your favorite bedtime story is that you're reading with your kids right now. Don't forget to like this video and hit the subscribe button. Every Thursday, there's a new video posted you don't want to miss out. Until next time, happy reading.